Dear students, in this class, let us discuss about depression of freezing point as a colligative property. You know very well the definition of a colligative property. It is the property which depends entirely upon the number of moles of solute and not on the nature of the solute. And we have seen one colligative property in the last class, namely the elevation of boiling point. So today's discussion will be on the depression of freezing point. I can give you a simple example for the depression of a freezing point. You might have observed the ice cream wala selling ice cream in the street. He used to move a ice cream box, okay, where he keeps the ice cream surrounding the in the freezing mixer box. The freezing mixer, he prepare a freezing mixer by mixing raw salt and sodium chloride salt and ice. So with this mixture he put it in the box, and so that he can retain the cooling for a longer time. So when the freezing mixture is prepared, the ice takes little more time for a melting. Okay, so the cooling can be retained for a longer time. Okay, so what is the purpose of addition of the sodium chloride in the freezing mixer? So when you add up a salt, the solute, the freezing point of the ice gets lowered. Okay, so therefore the that is the purpose of adding the salt. Okay, now when a non-volatile solute, say any substance, sodium, not only sodium chloride, any other salt, when it is added, the freezing point of the solution is lowered. The freezing point of the solution is always lesser than the freezing point of the pure solvent. Okay, let me explain you through a diagram. So in this diagram, I have it is drawn by plotting vapor pressure against to temperature. Okay, the curve ABC is the vapor pressure temperature diagram of a pure solvent. Okay, the curve D and E, DE is the vapor pressure curve of a solution. You know very well that vapor pressure of a solution is always lower than that of a solvent. Okay, so by the addition of a solute, okay, the solvent becomes a solution. So by the addition of a solute, the vapor pressure is lowered. Okay, so let us look at the diagram in a deeper manner. So this is a pure BC is the curve of a pure solvent, which upon decreasing the temperature, the pure liquid solvent, this is a liquid solvent, becomes at particular point B, that is at temperature T0, becomes a solid solvent. Okay, the vapor pressure at this point is noted as P0. Okay, so this is the freezing point. This is the freezing point. Point B is called a freezing point. So the freezing point is the one at which the vapor pressure of a solvent and the vapor pressure of the liquid and the solid remains the same, and that point is said to be the freezing point. Okay, is it clear? The vapor pressure of solvent and the solid solvent is one at a particular point. This point is called the freezing point. Okay, so further, this is the vapor pressure curve of a solid solvent. Okay, and now by adding a solute, this becomes a solution. The vapor pressure is lower than the pure solvent, and it decreases, and this is the vapor pressure, this is the freezing point of the solution. The point D is the freezing point of the solution, at which at this point the solid solution and the liquid solution possess the same vapor pressure, that is known as P2 at temperature T. So by the addition of a solute, non-volatile solute, the temperature decreases from T0 to T. So this temperature difference, delta T, is called the depression of freezing point. Okay, here the temperature decreases. Okay, so therefore we call it depression of a freezing point. So now we have to prove that this depression of freezing point is a colligative property. Okay, so we have to take the two curves and apply to Clausius-Clapeyron equation as we have done it earlier. Okay, so now let us take this curve BC, or let us take curve ED. Let us take this curve ED. Okay, where liquid is in equilibrium with its vapor. This liquid is in equilibrium with its vapor. This is a vapor pressure curve of a solution which is a liquid. So if I apply Clausius-Clapeyron equation to this equilibrium state, then this becomes ln P1 by P2. So this is the point at which the solution attains the vapor pressure, and this is the point at which the liquid attains a solid state. This is equal to delta HV by R into delta T by T0 into T. Okay, P1 is the vapor pressure of a solution, P2 is the vapor pressure of solid in existing with a vapor phase, delta HV is the latent heat of vaporization, R is the gas constant, delta T is the depression in the freezing temperature, T0 and T. Okay, now let us take this as equation 1 and take another curve AB, okay, in which the solid is in equilibrium with its vapor. Solid is in equilibrium with the liquid vapor. So in this case, ln, I take this P0 by P0 by P2 is equal to delta H S divided by R into delta T by T0 into T. So P0 is the vapor pressure of solid and a solvent, liquid solvent, and P2 is the vapor pressure of a pure solid. Okay, delta H is the latent heat of sublimation. Change of state from solid directly to vapor phase is called a sublimation, divided by gas constant delta T by T0 into T. So if I subtract equation 1 from 2, if I subtract equation 1 from 2, the equation become ln of P0 P1 by P2 ln A minus B becomes ln A by B, so that becomes P2 by P0. So this gets cancelled. So delta HV, this take this a constant, delta T by T0 into T, and if I subtract this delta H S from V divided by R. Okay. Okay. So now I keep this equation. Okay, and so this equation now becomes so there's a mistake. Let me correct this mistake. There's a P0 by P2, and this is equation 1 is P1 by P2. P1 by P2. Okay, so this 2 gets cancelled. This goes to the numerator term. So P2 by P1. So I subtracted equation 2 from equation 1. I got this. Now the equation now becomes ln P0 by P1, which is equal to delta HV minus delta H S divided by R delta T by T0 into T. So when the solution is very dilute, the difference between T and T0 is less. So and hence I can write T0 is equal to T. So this can be T0 square, delta T by T0 square. Okay. Now let me take this term ln P0 by P1. This is equal to minus ln P1 by P0. I change the denominator into numerator, so that I get a minus sign here, minus ln P1 by P0. So this equation becomes minus ln, I get 1 minus P0 minus P1 by P0. Okay, I can expand this term P1 by P0 as P0 minus P1 by P0. So if you multiply here, P0 minus P0 gets cancelled, minus of minus becomes plus P1 divided by P0. Now we already know ln 1 minus x is equal to minus x. So I can write this minus ln 1 minus x. Instead of 1 minus x, I can write minus of p0 minus p1 by p0. Okay. So this equation now become p0 minus p1 by p0. So ln p0 by p1 is equal to p0 minus p1 by p0. Okay, is it clear? Now let us move P0 minus P by P0 according to Raoult's law. The lowering of vapor pressure is equal to N2 by N1. Number of moles of solute divided by number of moles of solvent. So this we already know this equation. So instead of here I can put this. So comparing this equation as 3 and this as equation 4, I can write N2 by N1 is equal to, this whole term can be written as delta HF, latent heat of sublimation minus vaporization, can be called a latent heat of fusion from solid to liquid state, divided by R into delta T by T0 square. Okay. Now delta T, what is delta T? Delta T is equal to R T0 squared divided by delta HF, R T0 squared by delta HF into N2 by N1. Okay. N2 is equal to W2 by M2. N1 is equal to W1 by M1. Okay, number of moles of solute is equal to weight of solute divided by molecular weight of solute. Number of moles of solvent is equal to weight of solvent divided by molecular weight of solvent. So I can substitute this here. R T0 squared by delta HF, instead of N2 I can write W2 by M2, instead of N1 I can write W1 by M1. Okay, so this is called depression of freezing point, delta TF. Okay, this is called a depression of freezing point. Say if I take 1 mole of solute in 1 kilogram of solvent. If I take 1 mole of solute in 1 kilogram of solvent, 1 mole of solute is W2 by M2 is equal to small m. Here I take 1 mole. Okay. If I take W2, weight of solvent as 1 kg. Okay, so then the equation now becomes delta TF is equal to R T0 squared divided by delta HF. Okay, and W2 2 by M2 becomes equal to small m. Okay, into M1. Sorry, W1 is equal to solvent, 1 kilogram of solvent. So M1. If I take 1 mole of solute in 1 kilogram of solvent, this term becomes M, and M remains as such. W1 is equal to 1 kilogram. So this equation now changed to this form. I can write RT0 squared divided by delta HF, okay, into M is equal to Kf. Kf is called molar freezing constant or cryoscopic constant. Kf is called molar freezing constant or cryoscopic constant. Okay, so I can write this in this equation. Now the equation becomes delta Tf is equal to Kf into small m. Okay, so when delta Tf becomes equal to Kf, if m is equal to 1, if the number of moles of solute is equal to 1, if I take 1 mole of solute in 1000 kilogram of solvent, then depression of freezing point becomes equal to cryoscopic constant or molar freezing constant. So molar freezing constant is defined as a constant, okay, equal to where when 1 mole of solute is dissolved in 1000 kilogram of solvent, the depression of freezing point is defined as molar freezing constant or cryoscopic constant. So how do we prove that this depression of freezing point is a colligative property? So look at this. This is the depression of freezing point. Okay, it is, yeah, depression of freezing point. It depends on m. Moles of m is nothing but number of moles of solute. Okay, so depression of freezing point here depends on number of moles of solute. It is not depends on the nature of the solute. Okay, and the mass of molecular mass of solvent. Okay, so hence delta Tf is directly proportional to m. We prove that colligative property, depression of freezing point as a colligative property. So let me repeat once again. Depression of freezing point is a colligative property because it depends on the number of moles of solute added and not on the nature of a solute. So we have taken a vapor pressure temperature curve between a pure solvent and a solution. The pure solvent, when the temperature is decreases, freezes at a particular point where the solid and the liquid are possessing the same vapor pressure. So that particular point is called the freezing point. When a solution is studied, it is always, the vapor pressure of a solution is always lower than that of a pure solvent. So which meets at a particular point. We call it as a D. Okay. Then the equilibrium between liquid and vapor, solid and vapor is studied. Okay, the two Clapeyron-Clausius equations are compared. So from that equation, we derived ln P0 by P1 equal to delta H F by R delta T by T0 squared. So ln P0 by P1 is studied or read as per Raoult's law. Okay, P0 minus P by P0. So then we have put it in the Clausius-Clapeyron equation once again. Then when instead of N2 by N1, we put N2 is equal to W2 by M2, N1 is equal to W1 by M1. So upon substituting this, we derive delta Tf, okay, freezing point. So when you take 1 mole of solute, W2 by M2 becomes equal to M, 1 mole of solute. So the equation becomes equal to M1. So in this case, delta RT0 squared by delta HF into M, this is together, all these are constant. All these are constant. This constant together is called molar freezing or depression constant or cryoscopic constant. So it is defined as when 1 mole of solute is dissolved in 1000 gram or 1 kilogram of solvent, the depression in freezing point is equal to cryoscopic constant. Okay. Now let us how to determine the molecular weight of a solute. Okay, from this equation. Okay, so that is very easy. You need to rearrange this equation. Okay, look at this. So from this equation, I write we need to know molecular weight of a solute, provided you know all the other parameters. W1 is the weight of the solvent, M1 is the molecular weight of solvent, W2 is the weight of solute. Okay, R gas constant, T is the temperature, delta H is the latent heat of fusion. Okay, so I rearrange this equation. Let us see how the equation changes. W2 is equal to R T0 squared by delta HF, okay, into delta TF, okay, into W2 into M1 by W1. Okay, so if you know these parameters W2, M1, W1, delta THF, delta TF and this value, then you will be able to know molecular weight of the particular solute. Okay, easy to find out. So let me also read you a problem through which you can solve it. An aqueous solution containing an aqueous solution 0.25 gram of solute. So this is W2 dissolved in 20 gram of solvent. 20 gram of solvent. This is W1. Okay. Of water freeze at 0.4 degrees centigrade. Water which freeze at 0.42 degree centigrade. Okay. Calculate the molar mass of solute. Calculate molar mass of solute. What is this? This is W2. Sorry, M2. This is M. You have to find this. Okay. And the molar heat of fusion of ice. Molar heat of fusion of ice at 0 degree centigrade is equal to 6.025 kilojoules, or is equal to 8.314 joules per Kelvin. Okay, per mole. Okay. So I hope you will be able to solve this problem. So W2 is given. Okay, W1 is also given. Our molar mass of what is M1? M1 is the molecular mass of water. Okay, so molecular mass of water is H2O. 16 plus 2, 18. You can put here 18 into Avogadro number. Freezing point is 0.42 degree centigrade. Okay. Calculate the molar mass of solute. You are provided this one. Delta TF is given, 0.42 is given, R is given. Okay. T0 is RT0, the square is given. Okay. So you will be able to solve this problem. Let me you solve the problem and let me continue from the next